So this example is going to, number 4 is going to be a little bit different here. We're going to, number 4 and 5, we're going to take a look at what happens if we have a number of something, but it needs to be multiplied by a value. Okay, so it's going to be like, we're going to have to find out like total cost or length or amount or something based on something a little bit different. So let's look at number 4 here. Number 4 is going to be an equation again. It's listed right there. But it says that a pipe for a central vacuum is to be 96 feet long. Okay, so this is an exact value. Okay, it's going to be exactly 96 feet long. And well, it's going to have some pipes which are 6 feet long and some which are 8 feet long. So we're going to find the combination of 6 foot and 8 foot pipes which give us 96 feet in total. Okay, now, just to let you know, we can do exactly all 6 foot or all 8 foot to get 96, but that's beside the point. We're going to look for a combination here. So let's create an equation to determine the number of each type of pipe. So we're trying to find the number of each pipe. So X is going to be the number of 6 foot pipes used, and Y is going to be the number of 8 foot pipes used. Now I'm going to ask you to always be very specific with your X and Y's. Don't just say 6 and 8, because we have no idea what 6 and 8 are. We need to know it's number of 6 foot pipes used or a number of 8 foot pipes used. It's not even just 8 foot pipes or 6 foot pipes. Is that how many are bought, used, whatever the case? We have to be specific in how we're doing that. Now, our domain and range. Domain, range. Okay, X, we can't be using half of one. We're only going to be using full ones. So in other words, X, again, is going to be all whole numbers. We also not going to use negatives. And Y is also going to be a part of the whole number system. Now, how do we come up with this? Well, we're trying to find a total length. So we're going to have, let's do this in a different color here. We're going to want to try to find the length of 6 foot pipes plus the length of 8 foot pipes. And that's going to equal our total length. That's what we're trying to find there. Okay, so it's the length of our 6 foot pipes plus the length of our 8 foot pipes is going to equal our total length. Now again, this is to find the length of all our 6 foot pipes. Well, we don't know how many we're using, but if we take the number we have and multiply it by 6, that's going to give us that total length. So if we do 6x, or 6 multiplied by x, that gives us our total length of all of our 6 foot pipes. If we have 1, it'll be 6 feet. 2, it'll be 12 feet. 3 is 18, and so on and so forth. If we do the same thing with our 8 foot pipes, okay, so 8y, that's going to give us our length of 8 foot pipes. Okay, so however many of our 8 foot pipes we're using, we multiply by 8, and that gives us that total length of 8 foot pipes. And this has to equal our total length, which is 96 feet. So 6x plus 8y is going to equal 96 feet. And this is one that's in kind of a case where we have to multiply our x's and our y's by something. We might even have to divide our x's and our y's by something. But this goes through that example as well on how to do that. Okay, so again, that's using like a total length question. Let's take a look at a question that deals with cost. And cost is a pretty popular one as well. It's always nice to do that. Now, number 5, Asher is a food truck owner and needs to sell at least $550 worth of burgers and hot dogs to break even each day. Okay, at least this is an inequality. Okay, he has to sell at least that many. He could sell more, but he has to sell at least that many. So we take a look at that there. We're told that he has to sell burgers and hot dogs to break even each day. So we're going to use our X and our Y. X is going to be number burgers sold. Again, burgers was first, so I'm just going to use that. Number of burgers sold, and Y is going to be number of hot dogs sold. Now again, don't just say number of hot dogs, because we don't know if that is sold, or if that is made, or bought, or thought about selling. Okay, it's number of hot dogs sold. We need to be specific in that. We need to be careful with the way that we write that out. All right, our domain and our range. Okay, domain, X has to be positive, but we also aren't going to sell a part of a hot dog or a burger, so it's going to be a part of our whole number system. And Y is also going to be a part of our whole number system because it's the number of hot dogs that have been sold. Now, what is our inequality going to look like? Well, it's going to be the total sales of burgers plus total sales of hot dogs is greater than $550. That's what we're doing. And sometimes it helps to write it out as a sentence to kind of say, what are we actually trying to solve? Okay, what are we actually trying to solve? So we're finding that the total sales of burgers plus the total sales of hot dogs has to be greater than 550. Let's try to write that out in math terms, or mathy terms if you want to call it that. How would we find the total sales of burgers? Well, to find the total sales of burgers, we have to take the number of burgers that are sold and multiply it by the cost of a burger. So 4.50, you don't need the 0 necessarily, but we'll throw that in there, multiplied by X. Now we're going to add the total sales of hot dogs. Again, very similar. 3 times Y. And that all has to be greater than 550. And now it has to sell at least 550. So if he sold 550, that would be okay. But he could also sell more. So that's why we put the equal sign in there. And this would be our inequality. 4.5x plus 3y has to be greater than or equal to 550. And then we could find some values that make it work. We could throw that into Desmos and try to find what are some values that make it work. Okay, if we sold 100 hamburgers and 20 hot dogs, would that work? Well, you could try it out, see if it works. In fact, it doesn't. That would only give us $510. Okay, so he's got to sell more than 100, more than that, depending on kind of his sales. Okay, so that's one thing to take a look at. This is something that's important as we go through in coming up with that. So these examples deal with a number of something which translate to a total. Okay, so if we come up with a number of something, but we need to find the total of something else. So not just adding them together, but now we actually have to multiply either by a cost or a length. Okay, so length or cost was the two we looked at there. We need to then multiply our variables by some number.